All right, just wrapping up Notre Dame. I thought our guys competed hard. I thought our team showed up with an attitude that we were there to win the game, and offensively we did a lot of good things. A lot of yards, scored points, we're good in the red zone, only had 2 3-and-outs. The pick really hurt us. That led to 7 points. And defensively, the bottom line is we just didn't get enough stops. You know, when the ball got into space, whether it in the throw game or the run game, we didn't get it on the ground. And, you know, that's uncharacteristic of our defense. Obviously something that, you know, we've got to get fixed in terms of our tackling, our pursuit angles, our leverage in the football, and just overall knowledge of, you know, what's your leverage, where's your help. And we just did a really poor job of leveraging the football. And when you play a team that's as well coached with the skill level of Notre Dame, the result's going to be 48 points and 700 yards. So, you know, nobody in our team is happy. You know, I expect our defense to respond and put in a good week of work on the practice field, because the challenge this week at Syracuse with their offense, it doesn't get any easier. Syracuse is a very improved football team. It's year 2 with Coach Babers and his system. If possible, they're playing faster. It starts with their quarterback. Their quarterback, Dungy, is a winner. He's a competitor. He's gritty. He's tough. He hangs in the pocket. He makes plays with his feet. He sticks the ball in tight spaces. He's a really, really good player. I mean, he reminds me a lot of John, that he's just tough and gritty. And the kid's a flat-out winner. At times, he just wills that football team to move the football. You know, the receiver tandem of Ishmael and Irvin are, you know, I think as good as 1 and 2 from a production standpoint as anybody in the country. Their offensive line's improved, and their defense has really improved. You know, the linebackers, Bennett and Franklin, have played a lot of football. You know, we recruited Paris Bennett back when I was at Bowling Green and thought he was a high-level player, and he leads our team in tackles. Zaire Franklin has been, I think, one of the best middle linebackers in the ACC for the last 2 or 3 years. Really instinctual, you know, and they're better up front, they're better in the secondary. They're playing much better defense than a year ago. So it's year 2, they're better. You know, I just think this league right now is so competitive that on any given Saturday, anybody can beat anybody. And I think that's not just a cliche, that's happened this year on the field. You know, in a year that, you know, we beat Louisville, and BC has beaten Louisville and Florida State, and Syracuse has beaten Clemson. You know, those 3 teams at one point were almost untouchable from the other 4. And now a lot of those games have flipped. And so Syracuse is a team capable of beating anybody, that they proved with their win over Clemson. They've played Miami tough. They played Florida State. They're a missed field goal away from putting that game in overtime. And so it's a good football team. We're going to have to play well. Their record at home is 4-1. Their record on the road is 0-4. We're playing them at the Dome, which is a tough place to play. It's loud, it's noisy, it's climate controlled. So once again, thanks to Bob McCreary and Ben Sutton and all of our alumni and donors for building an indoor for us. So on a day like today, we can get good practice work in and pipe in noise and help prepare us to play Syracuse. Questions? Hannah? No, nothing? Okay.
With the quarterback Dungy potentially having some injury issues, does it make it even more vital to get some early pressure, perhaps?
You know, I don't. The injury issues. He played the whole second half of the game and was running around and making plays with his feet and making Florida State miss. So I'm going to be very surprised if, when the game starts, if number 2 isn't out there. I mean, he was out for a while, but when he came back in, they're running the football with him. And he's making players on Florida State miss. So it'd be hard to imagine that he's not playing. So, I mean, you know, and I tell you what, the McConey kid came in and he made some really good throws. He put some darts in there. So, you know, they're year 2 in the system. They've gotten reps. When you play Syracuse, you have to get pressure. It's really hard to get pressure because they get rid of the football so quickly. You know, so it's a challenge.
How's Wake looking at safety this week, and were there things that maybe you were able to show Luke Masterson on tape that he can maybe grow from his play last week?
You know, I mean, Luke certainly didn't play poorly. I think for the first time ever starting in that environment against that team, he did some good things. You know, and I think it's just a matter of him now start number 2 and being more comfortable. And, you know, I think he found out things are a little faster on Saturday than they are on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You mentioned after the game that the defense would have to bounce back from that performance. Have you seen what you needed to see the last 2 days?
Well, we had a good practice today. You know, I mean, it's a prideful group. And I mean, we've been in a situation here that for the first 3 years, you know, those guys kept us in games, and it was always the offense. And for the first time ever, we had a game that it was kind of flipped. That the offense probably played well enough to win, and the defense didn't. So we're a team. That happened on the other side of the football many times. And we've got good players, and they've got to bounce back. And we have injury challenges, but at this point in the year, everybody does. I mean, you know, the Houston Texans and Florida State, and I mean, it's football, and it's next man up. And, you know, so, you know, we did not lose that game because of an injury. You know, it's never going to be about one person or 2 people. It's what we do program-wise as a team, and, you know, we just have to play better. I mean, we did some really uncharacteristic things, and the thing that we did really poorly is we did not leverage the football. The amount of times that we had an angle to the football that we should leverage it and our help was inside, and we let the thing get outside of us. You know, the 3 reason big plays happen, and I'm going to do all 3 this time, Les. So you listening?
I'm listening.
Okay. Number 1, you misfit a run, and it pops, and that happened twice. Number 2, you lose contain, and the ball gets on the perimeter and gets down the sideline. That happened a couple of times. And number 3, you let the ball get thrown over your head. And all 3 of those things happened on Saturday. We gave up big plays every possible way you can give up a big play. We misfit the quarterback draw twice, and you know, the ball got in the edge a couple of times on a scramble for the 1 touchdown, another scramble, and we let the ball over our head. And twice they dropped it. So, you know, we just, you know, you can't give up big plays and be a good defense. And every possible way you can give up a big play, we did it. You know, and it's not like we were playing against Jim Zock and Jim Kick and Bob Greasy and the 72 Dolphins, you know.
Was there vomiting in the tape room like you said there would be when defensive?
Yeah, it was when we watched the tape on Sunday. It was it's hard to watch. It really was. I mean, this is what we do for a living. This is what we pour our heart and soul into. And to come in Sunday and watch that film, I mean, you physically feel sick. Your stomach feels sick. And then there's the challenge of fixing it. You know, and that's the fun part of the job. I mean, things are never perfect. You know, for how many years did we hear how bad we were on offense? And we knew it was a long-term project to get it fixed, but the challenge of fixing it and getting it right and making it better is what coaching is. And now we've got to get it fixed, and that's what coaching is. You know, and the other people you play against, I mean, that offensive line at Notre Dame is as good offensive line as we've seen in 4 years. And their skill, and the quarterback against us played great. I mean, he threw the ball accurately, made plays with his feet. You know, Adams didn't play much, but those other backs are good players. I mean, it's not like Notre Dame is not going to have good players. And so what happened is a lot of mistakes that maybe we made against other teams that didn't get exposed when you played against a team as well coached as Notre Dame with their skill level, everything gets exposed.
Looking at the Syracuse offense, Coach Babers said that they were going to try something different to open games after they've struggled. How important is it for the defense to adapt to situations they may not necessarily expect?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do. I mean, you know, they're going to have 11 guys. They're going to have a quarterback. They can run it. They can throw it. There's only so many formations. I think, you know, we've got to, get to the point that we play our defense. With every defensive call we have, you know, it's designed to take away something, and we know that there's a weakness to the call. And the players' knowledge of that weakness and their ability to react to it is what's critical. And, you know, that's what at times we didn't do well on Saturday. So, I mean, they're up there in Syracuse, New York, game planning, and they're looking at our defense, and I'm sure after Saturday they're licking their chops, saying, hey, and we've got to respond. And I don't know what they're going to do, what they're going to call, what they're going to run, but, I mean, they have a good quarterback. They have 2 really good backs. They've got some great receivers. Their offensive line, like I said, is better. They get rid of the football so quickly that they really don't put a lot of pressure on those guys, but when they do, they're performing a lot better than they did a year ago. I mean, they've got good players. So, you know, we've got to worry about us, that we have enough problems that we need to fix, and then on Saturday, the application of fixing those problems will show up when we play Syracuse.
Does facing tempo every day in practice perhaps help your team become prepared for facing the tempo Syracuse with those?
I think so. Their tempo is faster than ours. I mean, their warp speed, I mean, you know, we go fast. They go really, really fast. So it helps, but it's still, we're going to have to adjust to it. We're going to have to adjust to it. They go faster than us. So we, obviously there's an emphasis on practice to get lined up quickly, but that's part of the reasons that when we let the media watch practice back in fall camp, you see how we start every practice. And that's so that when we play games like this and we play teams that go tempo, that it's not something completely new and different for us.
Do they play fast to the extent that it makes it difficult to get your subs in on 3rd down as you usually do?
I mean, at times you can't. Yeah, they don't let you. They go so fast, you'll have 11 guys on the field.
What are the challenges of facing a quarterback like your own, if there are any?
I mean, the kid's just good. I mean, he knows where to go with the football. I mean, it's year 2 in their system. This is it's really it's fun to study their offense. They're really well coached. Their concepts are extremely well thought out. They know where the ball's going. The receivers anticipate when they're getting the football. I mean, and the quarterback is the trigger man. He knows where to go with it. You can't fool him with coverages or blitz. His reaction is real quick. And when things break down, he can tuck it and run. And they run him too. I mean, there's times they'll run stretch with him or quarterback draw with him. And, you know, it's not only the breakout plays, but there's design runs with him. Like I said, the kid's he's a winner. He really is. He's competitive, and, you know, I'm sure he's a blast to coach. You can just tell he's one of those football junkies that lives it. And we have one of those, and we love coaching him, and I'm sure they love coaching their guy.
Can you update us on the 2 week-to-week guys, Kate Carney and Jesse Bates?
The week-to-week guys are week-to-week.
How's it looking this week?
This week does not look so good.
Has there been any other like confirmation on what the injury was with Cade?
Cade, they both have strained ligaments, and it's really how they feel. So it's like I said last week, it's not a surgery, it's not season ending, and, you know, I wake up every morning hoping that will be the day they feel good and they can go. They're starting to become active again and move around, and we just got to see. So, you know, if I knew, I'd be working over at Wake Baptist. I don't think anybody wants me doing that.
What about Amari?
We think he'll be able to go. So right now it was just he kind of irritated an injury he had the week before, but we anticipate that he'll be able to play.
Chucky, and then also just you know, how's he? Because I think he got dinged up early in the game.
Chucky practiced today. He'll be good.
And then just your general thoughts on some of the guys on the offensive side just really rising to the challenge. You had Alex Bachman, had a standout performance, and then of course Matt Coburn pretty much going the distance for you.
Yeah, I mean we talked about last week, how do you replace Greg's production? And not one person was going to do it. It was going to have to be collective. And John played really well, and Alex Bachman came through and made big plays. Cam Serenay is becoming more productive. Scotty Washington played really well and made some tough contested catches. Tabari made plays. Matt Colburn. I mean, it's the neat thing about the offense right now is you don't care where the ball goes. I mean, you think about, we just talked about Bachman, Tabari, Cam, Scotty, and Matt. Those are the 5 skilled guys. And we don't care where the ball goes. I mean, it can go to any one of those guys, and we feel good about it.